Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11 we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. How's everybody doing today? For some reason, it's not working right on Facebook or anything. It's crazy. Looks like an issue on Facebook end again. Good afternoon, Fred. How are you? It is that time of the week. It is PFF Tuesday. I hope you guys can hear me. Looks like it's working. But let's get started. Top 5 highest graded offensive players: David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Taylor Decker. I don't know how Amon-Ra made it to the top with all the drops he had. Phil, good to see you too. Five lowest graded offensive players: Tate Ratledge, Jared Goff, Coyote Awasika, Brock Wright, and Khalif Raymond. And guess who was sixth? Graham Glasgow. So our entire interior offensive line was on the bottom graded offensive players of the week. No wonder why Jared Goff is there, because when they play horrible, he plays horrible. It's just how it goes. Defensively, I don't know how Derek Barnes made it down there, but Jack Campbell at the top, then Brian Branch, and Rock Yassin, Aiden Hutchinson, and DJ Reader. You know who's not on the bottom? Malik Williams, nor is Aleem McNeil. Why? We stopped 3 out of 4 tush pushes. Yes, they did. They looked awful. I don't know if he fires them. The Geno Smith thing, it was a horrible move in my opinion. Just like anybody that it's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know. They kind of did it to everybody. If you think about it, we've only had 2. You guys have had 1. Uh, Everybody else has had 2 or 3. It's weird. It's funny that 2 teams are 1 and 2, and 1, 2 and 1, yet they're the bottom. I think it's the Packers. I don't think the Vikings have the offensive firepower to keep up. But if your offense is inconsistent, that may leave the window open for the Vikings. I look at that. It finally shows up there. I know it's at Lambeau. That's why I'm choosing the Packers this week, even though So we were talking about the bad call. Like I said to you, I don't blame the refs. Nope. Joey Uso, good game. You guys won. I'm leaving it at that. But the only thing the bad call did for the Lions is take an opportunity of a chance to tie. It did not decide the game. And also, the reason why it ended up being a false start, even though it was a neutral zone infraction, the offensive lineman slapped at the hand and the ball wasn't snapped yet. That's why it was a false start. Because in order for it to be a neutral zone infraction, the ball has to be snapped. The play was stopped before the ball was snapped. So it was the correct call, but it was a shitty call at the same time. Yes. Shannon Sharp has came out about it. They talked about it on First Take. They talked about it on Get Up. It's been talked about by national media now. Hey, good win Bears, bad loss Lions. That's what it is. Ricky Saka. Hey, look at that. Facebook finally let it go live. We are live into Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Kick. So please. Yep, I hope it lasts because 6 of your next contests are going to be very tough. You got to play Packers twice. You got to play the Lions again on week 18. You got to play You've already played the Vikings twice, so that's your coup de grace. You only got 3 games left. First, we do too. We got 1 game with each of you. Yeah, I mean your schedule gets easier to go to the end of the season. It's looking good. I was worried about the legitimacy of the game before legal betting. Now there is so much swirling about the legitimacy of the league. NFL needs to admit it and do better. I agree. I think they need to do like NBA. And hear me out. If you have less than a 70% accuracy, you don't get to do your next scheduled game. If you have less than an 85% accuracy for the season, you do not get to do playoff games. That there needs to be an accountability, but the only way you can do that is to make them a full-time employee and then monitor every week. And at the same time, you guys have lucked out. You guys have came back against some bad teams. You guys have fell behind to some teams and didn't win. You're winning close games. Congratulations. I knew you would. I still think you're going to end up with 8 to 10 wins top. I think you're going to win two, 3 games. That's it. Because you have your 7 hardest games. 6 of them are the hardest. One of them should be a cakewalk, but that defense isn't easy, and that's the Browns. They need to be more transparent. They can't change anything, even a simple, hey, we missed. I'm sorry. Also, I don't know why it's so bad. I think it's an internet issue. I said that, but the defense looked like a Super Bowl caliber. We stopped the tush push 3 out of 4 times. The other time was a penalty. So it was tried 5 times, and 3 of them were stopped. One of them was a touchdown, and I admit that. There. Is it still bad? Because I don't get why the audio has changed. If somebody's messed with stuff. Hmm. 'Cause I've done nothing different. The tush push is exposed. With their pay, it's not as bad as the refs hold back in when we had college refs. They were terrible, but the NFL refs have greatly improved and all. Hmm. I'm just making sure because I'm not even hearing it in my headphones. Which is weird. Well, you're the only one saying it. I don't know what's going on. But again, let's get to the defensive side of the ball. Ooh, I would love to see it. I don't talk about us winning or losing. I just let games be played and let whatever happens. I just enjoy football. Amen, Steve. And that's why I like talking with you. You're more of an all football guy. Uh, Thank you, Ricky. For some reason, my mic isn't coming back to my headphones like it usually does, so I couldn't hear it on that end, but I just heard it there. You know, there wasn't much that we had that where people got injured in the game, but the injuries before were the ones we had. Yeah, Rock Yasin covered AJ Brown great. 8 targets against Rock Yasin. He allowed 4 catches for 39 yards, 0 touchdowns on AJ Brown. Uh, the one that you guys should have had a touchdown on, and thank God you didn't, was the overthrow by Jalen Hurts to Saquon Barkley when he beat out Jack Campbell. But overall, we didn't let the ground game beat us. We didn't let the passing game beat us. We outgained them because we did better. Yes, Smith was covered by Mallet and Whiteside and company, and I mean Brian Branch is on another level right now, and nobody talks about it, which is crazy to me. Let me add this in here real quick because I'm going to show it to you. Brian Branch. Did you know Brian Branch has 5 straight games with at least 2 pass defenses and tying for the longest streak by an NFL safety since the data began being collected in 1999. Yeah, I kind of check out until about January. Any update on Josh Jacobs? I heard he's not going to IR, but he may miss a couple games. Um, it depends on how he does this week. I'll tell you what we did see on Sunday that nobody else is talking about. And I'm going to talk about it right now because it was exactly what I said would happen if he ever got a chance to play in an NFL game. And it's funny because one of my favorite uh, podcasters that's funny did a joke about it and even said Shaduki sound. Yes, we saw Shaduki Sanders in active this weekend. 4 of 16, 47 yards, 1 interception, 3 carries, 16 yards, and 2 sacks. He was awful. Awful. Horrible. Shaduki Sanders. He shit himself on the field. when Dylan Gabriel went out, I think he sharted, and he was just lucky the pants were orange. I have been dabbling. Nick Burton, I have a feeling Jared, who would have done good if our O-line. Yes, absolutely, Nick. Thank you for the ad on Facebook. I appreciate you. That way you can follow it closer. Um, you can see my writings. I just posted my review of the game. Dylan Gabriel went into the tent with a concussion and had to miss the rest of the game. He's in concussion protocol. He may get to start this week. I don't think he'll be better than Dylan Gabriel. I absolutely think Shedeur Sanders was probably the worst quarterback in this draft. Even worse than Quinn Sewers, and I hate him. Even worse than last year's Spencer Rattler. He's bad. Go look at his record at Colorado versus good teams and tell me he's a good football player. He's not. He didn't make anyone better. His players on the team made him better. I call it like I see it. I always have. I don't know how his number got retired with a 13-12 record in 2 seasons with Colorado. But I have something I want you to hear real quick. Check this out, guys.
City sleeps another year. Dreams deferred and soaked in beer. The wind howls a lonely song. Another season gone wrong. But wait a sound across the frozen ground. Lions talk. Lions talk. Smoking Jeremy B. Lions talk. Down rubber ghosts of better days. Echoes in a hazy maze. Same old story year on year. Hope and heartbreak always near. A rumble deep, secrets they will keep. Lions talk. Lions talk. Smoking Jeremy B. Lions talk.
What do you guys think? No, that is an AI song that I wrote through an app. So how'd I do? I mean, all I did was choose a male voice, choose the beat and the style of music I wanted, and I put in the subject that I wanted to talk in. Thank you, Ricky. I love that song by Attaboy, and I'm gonna have that in here eventually too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay to get a new video put to it because thank you. It kind of reflects the way we used to be as fans. I wanted to get that out there. Oh, I love the Uncaged song. Don't get me wrong. I listened to it lots of times. I know that Will Rock had them on as a guest and they previewed the song and everything else. Great for him. I can't afford that type of stuff. I'm struggling to get by as it is. I'm lucky I can pay for my streaming services right now. But make sure you go check out my writing. He could be. He has to clear concussion protocol. He did not clear last week, so used to be. I still like that. A lot of fans are. That's what I noticed. A lot of fans are still in the same old Lions mentality. We just lost to a team that was in the Super Bowl and won it last year and hung with them. We lost by a touchdown. So that's my coup de grace. Notice I didn't give the Packers shit for losing to the Eagles. I want to say that now. I did give them shit for losing to the Browns, tying the Cowboys, and losing to the Panthers. Because there's a big difference between those teams. And the Raiders are right now are basically the Titans with one more win. I like the Saints better than I do the Raiders right now. That's how bad they look. So while our defense is at that level, even with people out, our offense wasn't with only one guy out on the offensive line and our tight end out. Brock Wright had a bad game, but the way we played, I think Sam Laporta would have had a bad game. I, I agree, but I got to see that offensive line play better without Christian Mahogany at left guard. Hopefully, Miles Frazier is ready to go this week because as we see, Coyote Awasika and Tristan Colon was awful. Uh, Tate Ratledge has to do better because Graham Glasgow, if the guards are playing bad, he's a screen door or a revolving door where the defense just gets through. That's why we saw 6 batted balls by defensive tackles that equaled 1 interception. Say what you want. Those were great defensive plays. They weren't as bad on Goff. The missed passes were due to pressure too. He was under pressure 9 out of 10 snaps. They talked about it. Yes, they did everything good that they against us that they worked on. They worked against play action evidently all week because they covered our play action. Amon Ra dropping passes he normally doesn't. That didn't help. He had what 4 or 5 drops in this game. I think he's had the most drops this season he's had in his career, and I still think that wrist injury from week 4 or 5 is bothering him. I think that's the main reason for his drops this year because they increased dramatically since then. He had 1 or 2 every game before that, and now we're seeing 3 and 4 drops a game. It's not uncharacteristic for Amon Ra to drop that many that hit him in the hand. I think we had 6 total drop passes at all. JMO being stupid and humping the goalpost, costing us an extra point. You know what? Think about that. 50-yard field goal or 50-yard extra point missed by a mile because of the wind. You saw it blow right off target. Wonder why we didn't try more 50-yard field goals. He made 1. Yeah, the hat came from Dunham's. and you could probably go online and get it and have it ordered to you, Nick. The shirt, you can get them at Walmart here. So they're probably available on Walmart.com for you. Right. I said that about that too. I immediately said that about that. Let's see, what else did I add for him? That was it. Thank you. I got about 20 live insurance. So, but that's because about once a month I go and buy one ever since I started doing the podcast. Quentin Williams in the second game with the Dallas Cowboys got a sack last week versus Geno Smith and the Raiders. That defense looked better with him being injected in there after 2 weeks. But that's what happens when you're an all pro type of player and you get traded to a team. It takes you a couple weeks to get going. Am I saying they're going to make the playoffs? No, but they'll probably end up taking second in that division because the Commanders are god awful. I have the same feeling too. As it goes, I think the Bears are not the same team that played in weeks 1 and 2, but their record is because of who they played, and they did their job. They won against the teams they should have, but they struggled and had to come back against some bad teams. I don't like that look for them. It's good that they've won because the wins go on the record. And yes, at 7-3, they lead the division. At 6-3-1, the Packers are in second. At 6-4, we're in third. And at 4-6, God bless you, Vikings. That's all I got to say. You're in the basement with it, and you need a lot to go wrong to move up. I don't think they have the offensive. They have the offensive skill players. They don't have the quarterback to beat the Packers. Is the problem I have. I don't think JJ's as good as advertised, and I've said this all along. There's a reason he got hid against the good team in college when Michigan was there, throwing less than 25 times a game because Michigan depended on the run. FTB, FTP, Viking, we who? That's for you, Jim. Our O line was so bad we couldn't run the ball effectively. We couldn't protect Jared Goff, which when he's pressured that much and blitzed that much, guess what? It makes him rush throws. He's a statue in the pocket. He does not really roll in or out. It is not his fault we lost, but it is not it. It's a plethora of things. We couldn't get the run game going. We couldn't block for Jared Goff. We couldn't block for the run game. And there, man, it's great having 60 comments this early in the morning. It's great. Uh, versus the Giants, and we're at home. I don't expect to see that much trouble. The Giants are awful versus the run. They're awful versus the pass. They got a great front seven. If we can block it all, it should be a heyday. He has the chance to be. I think he needs that push to the Super Bowl again, win or lose. I think he has to get to a second one. Myself, he has the numbers. He has the wins. He does not have the postseason success of other quarterbacks. So but Dan Marino had the numbers. Dan Marino didn't win a Super Bowl and only went once, and he still made it to the Hall of Fame. The screens did not work. I didn't see the screenplay working. I saw one good screen. I The swing passes, yes, they were working to an extent, but they weren't getting first downs, and then we'd have a penalty and they'd get brought back. It was just an awful game. And somebody said we didn't run shotgun enough. We had 22 snaps in shotgun, which is the most we had all year. So I don't know what anybody wants Dan Campbell to do if the team's not executing it. Depends on the players on the field as well as the play calling for it to be executed. Do I think he'll get better as he goes? Yes, because he has before. We just played a Super Bowl team, a Super Bowl winning team from the year before that added to it, and we hung with them. That's what I'll hang my hat on. I don't think that loss was as bad as it's being made out to be, but it wasn't good at the same time because we went from first in our division, third seed overall, to eighth seed. We're outside the playoffs now, into third seed in our division. That's what hurt. The loss hurt in the stat column more than anything. Yeah, because the one thing we haven't done in 3 years, we haven't done this. We're the only team in the NFL to not do it over the past 3 years since October of 2022. Every team in there has had back-to-back losses. Every team, every other team in the NFL. Only the Lions don't lose back-to-back anymore. And it's weird. It's weird for us Lions fans to be able to say that. So weird. I do too. We need to get better one game at a time. One game at a time. Focus on the team ahead of you. And for some reason, I hope we don't sleep on the Giants, especially if Jackson Dart gets cleared. The thing we didn't do this game also, which is the same as the games before that we lost, we didn't have a lead at halftime. We didn't win the turnover game. When those two things happen, we don't win. All four losses, we were losing at halftime this year, which is weird because last year we came back in more games than that. We're still 2-2 in one score games though. So there's that. It, it's a conundrum, and it sucks. You see, and people are saying about Shador Sanders, well, he didn't get to play at the ones. Well, neither did Dylan Gabriel his first game back. Remember, Flacco went out and he came in and they damn near won that game. And they did win a game. So I think Dylan Gabriel right now has already proven that he's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. He's more of a quarterback. Shedeur is not a quarterback. He's a great athlete. And I'll leave it at that. Do I think he could develop into an NFL quarterback? Maybe as a backup. I never thought he was NFL starter material coming out of college because I saw awfulness in college. Especially against good teams. But let's face it, in the conference he was in, the good teams there are not even a bad NFL team. The trades are different now. It's more of a compensation thing. The other team will get compensation picks and stuff like that. It's kind of like a waiver trade is what happened. But we're not at the bottom of the waiver wire is the problem. We're in the middle of the pack. We're the 8th seed right now in the NFL, which means 8 from 32. There's 24 other teams that could grab somebody off the waiver wire ahead of you. So you got to do some sort of like finagling in the background. We need Miles Frazier to get healthy. I think he's better than Coyote Awasika and Tristan Colon on it. We need him to be in his activation window. Does anybody know? Did they activate Malcolm Rodriguez last night? Because if they did not, he goes to the IR for the rest of the season. So there it isn't. I disagree a little bit. Ragnow a little because he didn't announce his retirement until after the draft. But they, what's funny is I said this and I made sure of it. The two guys they picked, while they didn't play snaps at center in college, they did practice at center in the off season. So they did have that versatility coming in. That was Miles Frazier and Tate Ratliff. Neither one actually took snaps at center, but they had snaps at center in practices with their college team in case. I know he was ruled out, but I haven't seen where he was activated. So if he wasn't activated last night, we have lost Malcolm Rodriguez for the season too, which means that's another guy who had a ton of potential, made a starter, got hurt, never been the same player since. He's been a rotational player ever since he got hurt in his rookie season. But he didn't have an injury problem coming out of college, which sucks. I love Rodriguez. I think he's amazing. I think his story is amazing. I love what he's done for our team. I want to thank everybody for watching. I did have a heavy metal song. Does anybody want to hear that one real quick? It looks like I have lost my internet connection again. Have a great day, everybody. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Take care, everybody.
Turn it up, it's that time again. Jeremy B. Lyons, he's your best friend. Every weekday, Evan, you know the vibe. He's shouting one ride with that rocket drive. Rolling up the scene, light up that fire. Jeremy's in the booth, taking us higher. With a grin and a laugh, he's got the crowd in a blaze. Smoking out the haters in a rock star haze. The stories that inspire and riffs that will ignite. When one pride echoes, everything feels right. Jeremy B. live every day at 11. Yelling one B ride like we're in rock heaven.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.